We are at the State Capitol building in Hartford, Connecticut, the site of the 2011 America East Men's and Women's Basketball Media Day. Ted Woodward, the head coach of the Maine Black Bears, our guest now, and I think when we look back at last year, Ted, there were so many nights when you had the best team in the conference, and I think probably the thing that frustrated you was getting your team to do this instead of the kind of a roller coaster. When you look back, is that kind of how you assess last year?
Well, we're definitely a team of extremes. There's no question about that. We had a lot of guys playing in our rotation last year. Certainly had some great step-up performances. Troy Barney's had a wonderful senior year, and got out of the gates a little bit slow, but then really caught fire there for a while, and unfortunately lost some close games and struggled a little bit down the stretch. But we had a team that played a lot of guys. And, staying consistent in a lot of the things that we did was obviously something that we didn't do as good a job as we would have liked to have done down the stretch in particular, and something that, we're working on with a lot of our new guys this year. But we certainly had some extremes as far as, the high side of things, and we'd love that to be the case the whole season long. But unfortunately that wasn't to be, and we're back very hard at work, trying to take this year's team and with a lot of new guys on our roster, but using some of their excitement and some of their things to have a team that's really, deep across the board and covered a lot of bases, but really a team that's got, really good chemistry to it. So we're working very hard at that.
You may have a lot of new guys, but you do have a quick look at the roster shows. You got guys who played tons of minutes for you in this conference, led by Gerald Mack.
Well, I think, that's a good thing about our team. We were so deep last year, we really played 10 guys. And so even though we lost some guys to graduation, we still have some, very experienced guys on the core of our team this year. We have a team that really has 5 seniors on it and 7 freshmen. Not a heck of a lot in between. We have some very good players in between, but that senior leadership is certainly something we're going to rely on this year, especially in our backcourt. Gerald McLemore, as you mentioned, has had a great career, looking to have another tremendous season this year. Andrew Rogers and Raheem Singleton are guys in our backcourt. It's always good to have an experienced backcourt, guys that really know what they want to do out there, and really good leadership amongst those guys as well, who will all be captains for us this year. And even our front court, we've been very fortunate that we haven't had any injuries, significant injuries over a long period of time. And I think any day you came into practice last year, especially if you looked at some of our big guys, obviously Troy and Sean had been some guys that had been very vested in our team, but a lot of days Mike Allison and Alistair Frazier had great moments for us and really provided us with great size. And even in practice, Svetoslav Chetnov, who's had sporadic minutes throughout his career, Trevon Wilcher, who's a former transfer from UMass. There's a lot of things these guys can do. So we're very excited about the core of guys we have returning in the front court. Certainly the guys that we have returning at our point guard and Gerald's position. And at the same time, a lot of freshmen that can do a lot of different things. So, we're working to try to get them to really focus on their strengths, eliminate their weaknesses, but really some dynamic guys that can provide some great moments for Black Bear fans as they go through their careers.
First-year head coach for the University of Maine women's basketball program, Richard Barron, our guest right now, and welcome to the league. And what can we expect? What would you say your style of coaching and the style we'll see with your players?
Well, we're gonna figure that out kind of on the fly here as we get to know the players. We're not really sure what we're going to do in terms of our tempo and offensively. What we have made a commitment to is good pressure defense and certainly trying to control the boards. Offensively, we're going to try to do whatever we can where we execute and get shots in the possession and eliminate a lot of the turnovers that I think has hurt the team in the past.
How much of a challenge is it to come into a situation where you're inheriting players and you're trying to put your style on them, but you got to kind of adapt to what they're able to do? Can you tell us about that challenge for you?
It is a challenge, but it's also fun. I mean, there's a certain amount of creativity that goes into it, and you're forced to get to know your players, to get to know their strengths and weaknesses. Even just learning to work with the new staff is, it's new and fun and exciting for everybody. But I think that over the last couple of weeks, we've started to see what everybody's able to do and started to feel a little bit better about the direction we're heading.
When you were hired by Maine, what attracted you to that job?
Well, very simply the tradition. I mean, the support for women's basketball in Maine is incredible, and not just for the University of Maine, but for girls' high school basketball in the state. Maine used to be in the top 10 in the country in attendance, and if we can get back to having 5,000 people in the seats every game, what a great thing that would be. So, that was really what drew me to the program, its relevance in the community.